Welcome to Our Highest Work, a podcast where we are gathering and sharing the very best ideas for spiritually based business and career success. My name is George Cow, and in today's episode, I'm going to share with you the best ideas that I have seen thus far for how to be a better coach. And a coach is, I should say, coaching skills are something that, of course, there are some people who apply professionally, like myself, and there are others in our highest work community who are professional life coaches, relationship coaches, business coaches, health coaches, spirituality coaches. But I think that good coaching skills can be helpful for team building if you are a manager or you're even gathering a volunteers team. So I think good coaching lends itself to good leadership, and as we know, good leadership is also very useful for all different areas of life where we relate to other people, and even to ourselves, because good coaching skills can be used to benefit our own transformation and our own growth. Anyway, I'm really happy to see you here, and as always, I invite you to comment, be part of our live episodes if you wish to, and if you want to receive reminders to join our live episodes, you can go to ourhighestwork.com. And if you are here with me in our live episode, I encourage you to comment on the video and let me know that you're here. And if you have any questions about how to be a better coach, of course, you can post those as well, or any tips that you have about how to be a better coach. And you can post your tips either as a coach, if you are a coach, or from the client's perspective. If you have had a coach before, you can post your thoughts on being a better coach as well. So I look forward to that. Let me actually, I have a quote for you that I like to go before we get into the content, the main core of the content. And the quote is from Peter Drucker, who is one of the most well-known, probably the most well-known management and leadership author and consultant of the 20th century. And he said this: "Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things." Again, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. And I think that's relevant for today's topic, because coaching is about helping other people transform in the ways that are actually the most important to them, rather than helping them do things better that are important to them. It's helping them transform so that they're actually doing the things that are most important of their highest work, and then of course helping them do those things effectively too. So let me just take a quick look to see if any comments have come through. No comments have come through yet. So again, if you're watching this, I always enjoy your comments, and let me go on to the actual topic. And I have another mind map for you today, which is great news, because you are able to go and study this mind map later, and I will be basically right now I'm going to be walking you through some of the most important pieces of the mind map. So without further ado, let me bring up the mind map. I know lots of people are just listening to this, so if you're just listening, I'm going to be sharing as much as I can from the mind map vocally to you so that you can follow along, and then you can also go to our episode notes page later to get access to the full mind map. And let me go ahead and share with you the mind map now. Okay, so by now, if you've listened to some of the other episodes, you're a little bit familiar now with the mind map idea. But for those who are just brand new to using the mind maps that I've been sharing with you, here's how to use it. First of all, you should know about the plus and minus sign on the upper left, and if you click the plus sign, it'll increase the font. So let me go ahead and do that right now, so it's much more readable. All right. So hopefully now this is much more readable. The other thing I want to show you is you can move around the mind map by moving your mouse and then clicking and dragging anywhere on the mind map. That'll move it around. Okay? And the very important thing to know is there are pluses at the end of certain concepts. And if you click on the pluses, that'll expand the concept so that it'll have the sub-concepts. So this mind map is sort of my current thoughts about how to be a better coach. Now, let me just give you a bit of context about my experience of being a coach. Now, I have spent 6 years teaching coaches how to build a coaching business and market their coaching business effectively. Now, some of my clients have not been coaches. They've been maybe they've been healers. So a lot of people have been healers in my clientele. Also, some other clients have been doing other kinds of consulting businesses or other types of businesses. But most of my clients have been coaches. So I have been around a lot of coaches for the last 6 years. So just by osmosis, I've learned a lot about coaching. Now, most of the 6 years of my business thus far has been training and teaching and answering questions through group calls. So I say that I haven't really been a coach for the last 6 years. I've been more like a trainer, facilitator of community, a teacher. Now, those skills, a teacher, trainer, facilitator, those skills come in very handy to be a good coach as well, and vice versa. But in the past 4 months, I have been intensively coaching people one-to-one. So I really have been, quote-unquote, a coach for the past 4 months intensively. And so I've learned a lot in the last 4 months, and I've also transferred a lot of my teaching, training, facilitation skills over to my coaching. So that's where I'm coming from. I know I have a lot to learn in terms of how to be a better coach. And so I know some of you listening to this are expert coaches. So I really want to encourage you to chime in and share with all of us, our highest work community, your experience, any tips that you can offer about being a better coach. That would be wonderful for me to see as well. And you can share your opinion by going to our video page, basically. If you're not yet on our video page, you can go there by going to ourhighestwork.com/21. This is episode 21. And actually, it would be best if you can post your tips to our Facebook thread for this episode. But if you're live here on the video, I, of course, love seeing your live comments. I'm going to see, okay, I don't see any comments yet. All right, let's go ahead and share. I'll share with you first the general principles of being a great coach. Here we go. I'm going to click on the plus sign to expand it. And my goodness, there are tons of ideas here. How many ideas do I share with you here? How many major ideas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 major ideas I want to share with you, but for this episode, I'm just going to share with you a few of them so that this episode can be digestible. And then I'm going to have you go and look at the full mind map. It's all free, and so I think you'll enjoy it. So first of all, let me, whoops, what am I doing? Okay, I just messed it up a little bit here. Give me a moment. Okay, I just messed up my map a little bit. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. So first of all, I'm going to just talk about the first concept I wanted to share with you, which is to be a good coach, you need to practice your listening skills to be a good listener, right, of your client. And what I encourage you to listen for is to listen for where their energy is going. People who are sort of beginner coaches tend to think, well, what I'm trying to do with my client is to get them to do what I want them to do. If I get my client to do what I want them to do, and you could tell, by the way, that if you become a good coach, you'll also tend to become a better parent, you'll become a better friend, you'll become a better spouse, you'll become a better manager, etc., etc. So these are really, I think, transferable skills. So listen for where the client's energy is going. So rather than trying to shove your own methodology down their throat and trying to get them to kicking and screaming towards a certain direction, first listen for where they want to go. What excites them? Okay, so here in the subtopics I've shown you here, what projects are they most truly excited about, right? And you need to ask questions to say, hey, you know, what's really lighting you up right now in your life? And you might want to get more specific. Hey, what are you really excited about in your work right now, or in your relationships? Or you got to ask them more specific questions about what lights them up, what makes them feel alive. And you just even listen as they talk, what they tend to keep emphasizing. If you're in person with them, or if you're doing this over video chat, you can watch their facial expression as they light up. Their eyebrows will tend to go up, and they'll tend to talk faster, or maybe louder, right? Or maybe make more hand gestures. So what projects are they really most excited about? What questions most bother them, or what issues really are making them fired up? Okay, what questions or issues most bother them or getting them fired up? Also listen for where they need some encouragement. You'll also notice when they start to talk about things where they just get down about a certain thing, or they are unsure. You hear some uncertainty in their voices. So where do they need some encouragement and some guidance? And finally, your job as a coach, your role, is not to mold them to your thoughts and your methodology and your modality and your services. Your role is to mold your modality and your services to uplift them. Your job is to mold your modality and your process to uplift them, so that you are serving their needs and really matching their energy it's instead of making them kicking and screaming towards your thing and your goals and your dreams for them. Why don't you mold your services, your modality, so that you're matching their energy and going to where they want to go? And of course, you could guide them. You can make suggestions. Say, hey, let me make you a suggestion. Sometimes this is what I do with my clients. I'm going to collapse some of these so that it's a little bit easier to read, by the way. Sometimes I make a suggestion to my clients, and I say, you know what? I hear a lot of uncertainty for where you want to go. I'm going to make a suggestion for you of a possible path. And I'm making a suggestion so that I want you to listen to your own intuition. Your gut, is it saying quickly yes or quickly no? Or quickly probably, or tell me what additional, alternative would be more exciting for you based on what I just said. So sometimes I give them a path just for them to sense into their energy and where they actually do want to go. Do you see what I mean? So I hope that's helpful. Let me just take a quick look at the comments and see if any. Okay, no comments yet. All right, there's a quiet group tonight. That's okay. All right, let's go on to the second major topic I wanted to explain to you. There's some other things I'm not going to share with you right now, which is to have clear expectations about commitment, picking the clients you are best able to serve, setting good goals. I'll let you go into the mind map to kind of really look through those when you have a chance. Let me actually collapse this to so that it's a little bit easier here. Okay, so the next major concept I want to talk through with you is to have the clients talk through what they are going to do that you and they have agreed on. So once, for example, once on a coaching call, once I talk with my clients through the projects they're most excited about, and they and I agree on some very productive and joyful assignments for the next 2 weeks before I talk to them again, what I have them do is I have them talk through as much detail as we have time for what they're actually going to do on those assignments. Okay? By the way, I should say that I do this when I am a good coach. Okay? When I am doing a good job coaching that day, I will have them talk it through. And why? So for example, so the question I might ask them is, what do you envision doing for this activity? So for example, if a client of mine says, great, George, I'm really excited about doing my niche interviews. Then I go, okay, so talk me through how you would do your niche interviews. So they would go, okay, so I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to first look at the template of the niche interviews that you're going to send me, and then once I filled out the template, then I'm going to contact a few of my friends who I know are interested in this idea. I'm going to share, first I'm going to run by our client group what the niche interview outreach letter might sound like, and I'll get some feedback, and then I'll send this letter out to a few of my friends, and of course to customize it for. So you see, I have them talk through some of the steps in detail, and as they are talking through the steps, I listen for where they are hesitating. I listen for where they are feeling scared. And I say, hey, you know, I heard that you have some hesitation there. Do you want to talk through this particular process to make sure that you feel good about it? And I should say, this is when I'm being a good coach, okay? And so when the client talks through the process that you and they have agreed on for them to do, the assignment, the homework for them to do for the next time, they are able to envision it better. And when they're able to envision the actual thing they're doing, they're much more likely to do it. And of course, as they talk through it, as I said, they're going to probably have questions or doubts that come up. And that's when you can, you know, hold that space for them to have those questions and doubts, and then step in to say, hey, you know, do you want to talk through this a bit so that you can feel more confident about doing this particular step in the process? Okay? All right. Let me go on to, as I go on to the third concept, let me just see if there's any comments. Thank you, Barbara Freeman. Very supportive of you to comment and show up here live, so thank you so much. Okay, let's go on to the next concept that I want to share with you, which is, okay, so some of the other concepts I'm not going to be able to share with you today is being continually gathering and integrating feedback from your clients, and also being a curator of the best personal development tools and whatever tools that you do for your clients, okay? But I'll let you look through that in the mind map when you look at the video notes page. Next, let's talk about being accurate with accountability. So as a coach, this is very important. You have a certain ability to actually get your clients to do the things that they were not able to do for themselves. And let me tell you why. The very simple fact is that your clients have had years of practice compromising with themselves. Let me say this again. This is actually coming out of, I want to thank one of my clients, you know, Becky, for this. She was like, hey, George, you know, I feel like the assignment that you're going to give me, I've been putting it off for a while. Why is it I've been putting that off, and where I'm feeling like I'm inspired to actually do this now that you're sharing this with me, or you're with you? And I said, well, it's because all of us, right? All of us, not just you or your clients or whatever, all of us have had practice compromising with ourselves. Whereas when we are working with a coach, we don't have, especially if it's a new coach, right? We don't have practice compromising with our new coach. So the reason why we hired a coach, the reason why you hired a coach, or your clients are hiring you, is because they respect you. If they respect you, that means they are going to, again, you're new to them. They don't have that experience compromising with you, and the fact that they respect you means that you have this window of opportunity where you can really set the pattern that you are agreeing with them on the goals and the assignments, and that you are being accurate with your accountability, so that you can really say, hey, last time we talked about doing this. How did it go? Okay? So let's expand this node so I can share with you. Okay. So what did your client promise to do last time, the assignment? Okay, and again, what we're not going to talk about today is setting good goals, but the goals have to be baby step enough where they feel like they can definitely do it, but a stretch enough where they feel like, hey, I'm definitely feel capable of doing this, but it's still going to be a little bit of a stretch, so that I am growing and I'm being focused on doing the right things. Okay, so what did they promise last time? Ask them specifically about it. Now, you may to be an even more accurate with your accountability, you may even want to email them between calls to say, hey, hey Becky, you and I talked about this assignment. How is it going? Do you have any questions about it right now? How is it going? Please email me back and letting me know how it's going. So if your client knows that you are really tracking to make sure that they do that thing, they're much more likely, even subconsciously, they're going to be working on that project even subconsciously. And they're going to be much more likely to bring the completion of that project to you next time you talk. Okay? It also shows them that you're listening, it also shows them that they need to be careful in making commitments to you, and to make good commitments to you and to come through on those commitments. That makes sense? And again, so to help them be accurate about the accountability, I ask them, like I've said, at the end of the call, can you reiterate what projects and habits you and I have agreed on for the next 2 weeks? And then if there's time, I have them talk through the steps of those things. All right? Okay. So one other concept we're not going to be able to talk about today is to continually improve your communication skills. And actually, we talked about this last time in how to make your content more engaging. So if you want to improve your communication skills, be sure to check out episode 20, where I talked about all kinds of great ideas about improving communication skills, etc. Okay, let's go on to the next concept, which is, how do you get better as a coach? How do you get better as a coach? And I have some simple answers for you, but it's simple, but it's something you've got to think about and apply, which is to get better at anything, certainly anything, but certainly coaching, you've got to intentionally practice. You've got to notice and observe what's working and what's not working, and then you've got to modify your process so that it works better the next time. And very importantly, you've got to celebrate what you are doing well and what you have been able to accomplish already. Now, a lot of people kind of go, oh, I don't celebrate very much because, I just want to improve myself and keep thinking about the next thing I should do better. No, you've got to celebrate, because in celebrating what you are doing well and what you've been able to accomplish, you subconsciously empower yourself to realize there is a lot that I can do. I am powerful. I am capable of so much, and therefore the struggles and the obstacles in front of me are certainly capable of being overcome, because look at how I've been able to overcome all of these other things already. So celebrating what you've done, what you're doing well, and what you've been able to accomplish is really important. And by the way, I don't even know if I put this in here, but celebrating what your clients have done and to have done well is also very important, to give them that sense of empowerment. And not just that sense of empowerment, but actually subconsciously raise their capability level. Okay? And in fact, a lot of my sort of coaching calls, again, if I'm a good coach, I'll remember at the beginning to say, hey, let's celebrate what you've done in the past couple of weeks, like what you've done well, right? But to become a better coach, you need to intentionally practice. So what does it mean by to intentionally practice? Intentional practice means to be aware of these principles and to take one. So here's the thing. There's a temptation to come into this mind map and go, oh my God, I'm going to do every single one of these next time I talk to my client. Okay? No, it's too overwhelming. So look at this mind map and just pick one thing. Maybe two things, but at least just one thing to say, I'm going to improve on this characteristic. I'm going to improve on this aspect of my coaching on my next client experience, in my next experience with my client, or in the next coaching situation. So just pick one thing, because if you can actually apply one thing from this call, from this episode, to your next coaching, this episode would have been worthwhile for you. But if you just take a bunch of ideas and you applied nothing, then this was not necessarily a waste of time, but it wasn't a great use of your time. So apply at least just one thing. And once you apply that one thing and do it well, then you can come back to this episode or come back to this mind map and apply the next thing. So that's called intentional practice. Noticing and observing means that at the end of each client experience, at the end of each coaching call, you take a quick note to say, all right, what did I do well on that call, and what can I improve upon for the next call? So let me ask, I would even ask myself, am I doing that? I'm probably not doing that as well as I could. So I'm going to make a commitment that at the end of each coaching call, I'm going to write down even just one sentence of what I did well and what I can improve upon for the next coaching call. But even just writing it down, even taking 1 minute to write something like that down, will get into your subconscious so that you will actually more likely do something better the next time. And that's great. Modifying means to actually consciously design your coaching process so that it's better the next time. It's more improved based on maybe one of these principles. So if you have a checklist for yourself about what you talk to your clients about, if you have a checklist for how you prepare for a call or how you follow up from a call, if you have a checklist for something you look at during a coaching call, that's something you could modify. Modify your checklists based on what you've observed works well or didn't work well. Make sense? So that's how you get better and better and better as a coach. Finally, the last point I want to share with you is my coaching mantra. So this is what and again, when I'm a good coach, I remember to say this. This is my coaching mantra. I am not interested in hearing your blames or your excuses. I'm not interested in that. I want to help you celebrate your results, reflect on your learnings, and upgrade your processes. I want to see you joyfully diligent and on the way to your dreams. I'll say that one more time. And I welcome you to borrow this mantra, to even just say to yourself or even to say that to your clients in some format, okay? I'm not interested in hearing your blames or your excuses. I want to help you celebrate your results, reflect on your learnings, and upgrade your processes. I want to see you joyfully diligent and on the way to your dreams. Okay, let me break this down just a little bit here. We've already talked about, okay, so I'm not interested in hearing your blames or excuses. One of the things that you'll find clients doing with you is they'll say, oh, I didn't get this done because, you know, this happened to me or that happened to me. Now, obviously, some life situations are very real, very serious, and they need to be attended to. You know, we're not saying that people are not, you know, doing good things in their life. But what we are saying is that, you know what, we don't, a lot of times, and this is true for ourselves, we justify why we didn't do something. Rather than justifying why we didn't do it, which is sort of, it makes us disempowered, because when we justify why we didn't do something, we're basically saying the commitments we make to ourselves or to other people can simply be not done and be justified, and we're furthering that pattern. So instead of excuses, we celebrate what we did do, celebrate the good things that we did do, reflect on our learnings, say, okay, I didn't do this because this happened, and in the future, and upgrade our processes. So in the future, I can plan more time to do this commitment, or I can be more careful about my commitments. That's upgrading our process too. To be careful about our commitments and to plan enough time and resources so that we can actually meet those commitments. Okay, so that's called being joyfully diligent. Okay? So I hope that's inspiring for you. Again, some of these things can be applied in our own life, let alone in our client's life, right? And with that, I'm going to take the screen sharing off. Thank you so much for being part of this episode, and I see that Cherie Griffiths is also commenting and live with me here, and thank you, Cherie, for your kind presence as well. So, you know, the last thing I want to share with you is actually an email I got from one of you. And I asked, you know, I wanted, you know, this person didn't want me to share their name, so I'm not going to share their name, so this is anonymous, but I wanted to share this wonderful email with you. This is what the person wrote. I simply wanted to share the gratitude and admiration I have for you and what you do and how you do it. I receive countless offers every day from companies like, and I'm not going to say who they are, but probably companies that we receive internet marketing type emails from. What I see with them is a desire to develop content for the main purpose of generating wealth beyond what a truly enlightened person could possibly need. It is borderline hypocrisy for these individuals and companies to hook the eager with something free and then sell them what could easily be written in a book for $14.95 or as a plan that they sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Virtually every single one of these bright folks seem to be on the bandwagon. However, I don't see that with you and the way you run your business. I have yet to be able to offer, I have yet to be able to afford one of your programs. That's okay. I hope that these podcasts will bless you and you will truly use it. That's what's important for me, is that you truly use this information. So he says, I haven't yet been able to afford one of your programs, but I've already learned so much from you. I just wanted to thank you with this wonderful letter. Not only for the wisdom you've already shared with me, but for being the one teacher in this movement who really does have the right to talk about love, enlightenment, abundance, and a better life. Also, I know how busy you are, and I do not need to you do not need to reply to this, really, but just keep doing what you're doing. If at all possible, at some point, you can shine a light on a business model that espouses love, consciousness, empathy, and a better life, yet seems to care far more about, maybe you can shine a light on a business model that supposedly espouses love, consciousness, blah, 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 but seems to care more about that new beach house than really helping those who are genuinely searching yet can't afford a $400 PDF. So thank you, George, you're the best. So thank you so much. You know who you are. Really, that letter just gratified me so much. And if you want to send me feedback about what I am doing right and what I can improve upon, I so appreciate that. So yeah, I invite you just to send me an email and let me know one thing I'm doing well and I should keep doing, and one thing I can improve upon to make these podcasts even more effective for you. And if you want to review this podcast on iTunes, every review or even every subscription on iTunes will help a couple more people find this podcast. So you can do that by going to ourhighestwork.com and then clicking on review to find out how to do that. So thank you for being part of this community, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. In fact, the next episode, I'm really excited, is I'm interviewing a popular author on mindfulness. Her name is Sharon Salzberg, S-A-L-Z-B-E-R-G. You can look her up. You can see how popular her books have been. And we're going to be talking with her. So if you have any questions about mindfulness, about meditation, about right livelihood for this wonderful author, you can comment on any of our episode pages, really, and I'll be sure to do my best to bring that question to her as well. So until the next episode, keep your thoughts positive, keep your heart open, and be well.